Hey, whippersnappers, this is Tortimer the Great. Welcome to another brand new series here on the Tortimer the Great Gaming channel. Today, we are going to be kicking off the Pokemon Black 2 Rotten Egg Lock, which is going to be Season 5 of the Pokeath'locke. We've been talking about this series for quite some time, so unless you guys have been living under a rock or not been watching any of my stuff or been in my Discord or anything like that, you're probably aware of what's going on with this series, but I wanted to take this episode 0 to kind of give you guys all the information you're going to need, because this particular series is going to require a lot of input from you guys in order for it to really work out to its best potential. Because with Egglocks, you guys have probably watched Egglocks before. I've never done one on my channel, but I know you got a lot of you guys watch a lot of Pokemon, so you've probably seen other YouTubers do Egglocks. And basically what happens in an Egglock is, instead of using the Pokemon that you're catching in the wild, so say you happen to catch a Pokemon on Route 2. Instead of using that Pidgey or something that you've caught on Route 2, you're going to take it back to the Pokemon Center, you're going to put it in the PC, and you're going to exchange it for an egg that's in the PC. And those eggs are generally provided by the community of the YouTuber who is doing the run. And so, you know, that egg may instead have a Bagon in it or something. And then you've got a more interesting collection of Pokemon that you can potentially be using, as opposed to using the same Pokemon from each route every time. And Egglocks work a little bit differently. There's going to be some codes in there to make sure the eggs hatch a lot faster, so we don't have to waste a lot of time running around doing hatching. You also then have a bunch of rare candies that have been hacked in, so that you can level up that egg, that Pokemon that you've hatched, so you don't have to start with like a level 1 Pokemon in exchange for a level 50 Durant or something. You're using rare candies to level that Pokemon up to the level of the Pokemon that you're exchanging it for. So anyway, that's kind of a brief rundown. It's just so you have a more interesting collection of Pokemon that you can potentially be using. And so that's a general Egglock. What we're going to be doing, though, is a rotten Egglock, as I said. And so you guys may not be super familiar with what that is, because I honestly haven't found... I did a little bit of searching, at least when I started conceptualizing this series, and did not really find anybody who's doing anything quite like this. So we're doing what I'm calling a rotten Egglock, because instead of you guys giving me, some very awesome Pokemon in order to be using, so exchanging that Pidgey for a Bagon or something, getting those pseudo-legendaries and things like that, though pseudo-legendaries may come into play. This is all going to be kind of an opinion-based thing. But instead of that, instead of you guys giving me your favorite or the best Pokemon, I want you guys to be giving me your least favorite and the worst Pokemon, or the most obnoxious to train. We're doing this in, as I said, Pokemon Black 2, so that's Gen 5. There's a lot of Pokemon that are kind of obnoxious to train in that generation because their evolutions are so late or whatever it is. And we're also doing it in Black 2, White 2, which means, now I don't think with an Egglock it would really matter, but in the wild, like in Pokemon Black and White, you can't find any non-Gen 5 Pokemon. Pokemon Black 2, White 2, the nice thing about those games is that they do have the expanded Pokedex, so you can get, more of a decent smattering of Pokemon. But again, we're doing an Egglock, so it doesn't really matter, I don't believe. The ability to get the national dex and things like that, I don't think limits our ability to do this. But, so the point is, in order to do this run, where I'm going to be using some of my least favorite Pokemon, some of your least favorite Pokemon, some of the worst Pokemon in my least favorite Pokemon game, because Gen 5 was not my favorite generation in the first place, and then I got these games, I got it on sale at some point, some weekend. I was going to be, my wife was going to be out of town for maybe a week or something. I was like, well, I'll play this game, sure, why not? And I never even ended up finishing the game, sort of thing. So I don't even know where the story goes, which is going to be the first time. Well, I guess we've been playing all these stepbrother games, so I don't necessarily know all the twists and turns, but it's going to be the first time we're going to be playing one of these in a Pokeath'locke type or Hexath'locke type setting where I've not actually finished the game before. But anyway, that's a long story short to you guys are going to be providing these rotten eggs that we're going to be using in this series. And I needed to show you guys how that's supposed to work. There's some of you who may know exactly how that works. There's others of you who may have no idea. And in the perfect world, I would love for each of you guys to send me a box full of rotten eggs that you would love to see me use. I would love to have a whole smattering of eggs that we have potential to get access to. And so I want to make sure that I know that you guys know how to create those eggs, because there is some legal checking things in these later generations where if it's not a perfectly legal egg, it may cause issues with the ROM and stuff like that. So I don't really want to be in an issue or have issues with that as we continue on with the series. So I want to take this time to show you guys exactly how you're supposed to be creating these eggs. So we're going to jump right into that because I think I've rambled long enough. We see a couple of things here. We've got this opened up, and there's going to be a link to this in the description down below. You can also just put Pokegen in Google, and the top several results will be all very good. You may have one already on your computer. I know several of you guys have probably deal with this kind of stuff in the past. But the fact of the matter is, to create these eggs, which you will send me, which I will import into my game, we're going to need to use a software called Pokegen. And so there's going to be a link to this one on Project Pokemon down in the description down below. Again, you can type Pokegen into Google, and the top 5 results, will probably be just fine as well. I don't think the specific version or where it's hosted or anything like that is going to make a huge difference on what we're going to be able to get out of this. So, you come here, and this is where the link will take you. You scroll down, you download this file, and what it's going to do is it's going to come over here, and it's going to give us a zip archive like this right here. Alright? And then we'll launch that. And it's going to give you all these language things. You don't really need to worry about any of this at present, but you'll double click on this. It'll say, extract or run, and then when you do that, it's going to launch a piece of software that looks just like this. And this is the software that I've used to do a lot of my my hacking of the transfers for the Hexath'locke, Pokeath'locke, things like that. You can come in here, you can create Pokemon, you can import save files and edit Pokemon directly. Things like that, which makes it a very versatile and useful piece of software for anybody who's dealing with ROMs and all that kind of stuff. And it's been super useful to me in my time doing the Hexath'locke type series for the last 6 years or whatever. But essentially what we're going to be doing is creating eggs. And we're going to be using this piece of software. This is all you're going to need, basically. And then I will walk you through exactly how it works so that we can get legal eggs made here. Now, basically, you're going to come in here, and it's got all the Pokemon listed here. So the first thing we're going to need to do is look at the species, and you're going to need to come in here. Now, the first thing you're going to need to know as you're coming in here, since we're hitting species first, it needs to be a first stage Pokemon. So if let's say you want me to use a Marill. You hate Marill, but Marills can't hatch out of eggs. Well, can they? And that may be a bad example, because they added baby Pokemon. I don't believe, anyway. The point is, Marills are not the first stage Pokemon. You've got Azurills. Azurill evolves into Marill. So if you want me to use a Marill, you have to put an Azurill. So let's go down and let's just say, all right, Azurill is going to be the Pokemon we're going to be using. It needs to be a first stage Pokemon. It cannot have any pre-evolution. All right, it needs to be a first stage Pokemon. So let's say Little Cup eligible. It needs to be a Little Cup eligible Pokemon. Or it needs to be a first stage Pokemon. I guess Little Lock eligible Pokemon, we'll say. And so you pick Azurill. It needs to be a first stage Pokemon. I can't stress that enough. It can't be, most legendaries can't hatch from eggs. I know that we had discussed in the Discord that there are some legendaries that potentially hatch from eggs, like Manaphy or Fione or something like that. You guys will have to use your best judgment. But if I get the egg and it looks like it's something that's probably not going to be legal, I probably will have to delete it as opposed to having it corrupt my game file, just so we can get through this. You are able to nickname the Pokemon. So let's say we're going to name this one Bluebell, which is what we Bluebell, which is what we named our Azumarill in Hexath'locke Season 6, maybe? And so we've got that. If you want it to have a nickname, you need to check it here. All right. I don't want it nicknamed the species because I'd like to be somewhat surprised. So if you guys would like to give nicknames, what'll happen is the egg will be named the nickname, and then when it hatches, I think I'll have to reapply the nickname. But I will be doing that. So if you guys want to give nicknames, assuming they're appropriate, and make sure they're appropriate, you guys know this is a family-friendly channel. Make sure that you put your nickname there, and you've got to check this box here. Experience 0, level 0. You don't have to mess with that at all. Nature, you guys can give any nature here. And you can only see a little bit of it as I moused over, but you mouse over it and it kind of spells out for you what every nature does. If you don't know, or if that's not clear enough for you, you guys can Google Pokemon nature table or something and find all of those. So Azurill, I think Adamant actually probably works for us, because if this is going to eventually evolve into Azumarill, Adamant I think is a good nature for that, so we're going to hold on to that. You guys can give held items. So let's say you want... I don't know, you want to give, an amulet coin or something like that. Held items are legal. I don't think it can be a key item or anything like that, but I don't know if those are even available. Well, I guess bicycle and stuff. Yeah, so don't make it a key item, but you can give me some sort of held item if you would like. A lucky egg or something like that. You guys are able to do those sorts of things. Happiness will be 0 because obviously it's an egg. It's not hatched yet, so it can't have any happiness available to it yet. And then abilities. So this is where we first need to be thinking about legality for the most part. let's pop over here, and we've got another page that's going to be linked in the description down below. This is Cerebi. This is what I use for most of my Pokemon technical kind of information. And this is, again, the link will be in the description down below, but this is the black and white Pokedex over here. So, Gen 5, because that's the generation we're going to be doing this Rotten Egglocke in, and it's got all the Pokemon that are available in that generation. Alright, and this editor is only through Gen 5, so you're not going to be able to pick Gen 6 Pokemon in here or anything like that. But what we need to do, so let's say we're doing an Azurill, which is technically just a normal Pokemon, right? So we've clicked that. We can click in a normal type Pokemon. There's probably easier ways to do this, but for the purposes of what we're doing, wait, Azurill. Is Azurill not just a normal type Pokemon? Is this? Did I screw that up? Is Azurill a? Hold on. Now we're looking dumb on camera. Okay, so let's go into Meryl real quick, and then Azurill. No, it's normal. I don't know. I must have just skipped over it or something. Anyway, so we come in here and we're in Cerebi. We found the Pokemon that we're doing, and we found its particular Pokedex entry. You can go. So if you know it's a Johto Pokemon, you know you could come in here and look at it by number, or you could click through the type and search through it there. However you guys want to do it. This is where some of the most critical information we're going to need is found. So we're looking at ability here. So we've got the ability field over here, and we need to figure out which ability it's going to be. So we can pick a specific ability here, but if you try to give me a Blaze Azurill, that's not going to be a legal Pokemon. So we come over here and we look and see, okay, so we've got abilities 1 and 2 are going to be the ones that we have access to for an Azurill. So we've got either thick fat or huge power. So let's go ahead and we're going to say, we'll scroll down here, huge power. So we're going to say huge power because we've got an adamant Azurill. That's what we want it to be. Obviously, if you guys want to be mean, you can give me the worst of two natures because it's a Rotten Egglocke, whatever you guys want to do. The purpose is going to be, you know, finding the beauty in terrible Pokemon, right? It's not going to be actually having, you know, pulling our hair out because every Pokemon we have is just total garbage. The point of this run is using our least favorite Pokemon, using your least favorite Pokemon, using the weakest Pokemon, using the most annoying to train Pokemon, but with the purpose of that comes along with every Nuzlocke of, hey, we are, you know, going to be trying to find the beauty and love these Pokemon that we don't really like previously. So, you guys can do however you want, but make sure coming over here, make sure you're finding which abilities are legal and selecting those, alright? Shiny Leaf, I don't think is anything. You guys can say, okay, you want it to be shiny. You can give me shiny Pokemon if you would like, but also you need to say, okay, this needs to be an egg. Alright, this is the most critical thing. It needs to be an egg. Checking this will result in the Pokemon being in an egg. It is an Egglocke. They need to be in eggs, alright? And you could choose gender and stuff here as well, alright? So we've got a shiny Azurill female, because it's a 75% female line, I figure why not, in an egg. Okay, so that's everything we need to do here. Nothing else needs to be messed with. Nothing else can really be messed with, I guess. But make sure that you've done all that. Make sure it's a first stage Pokemon. It has to be no pre-evolutions on it, alright? It needs to be a single stage or a first stage Pokemon, Little Lock eligible. Okay? If you want to have a nickname, you can either give it a nickname or you can just, you know, give it your name or whatever you want this thing to be called, do that. If you don't have any preference, you can just leave it blank and that'll be fine, alright? Then we've got nature. Any Pokemon can have any nature, so it doesn't really matter. You guys can pick that at your will. If you need help figuring out what natures are, again, Google with your friend. Held item, as long as it's not a key item, you can give me something. It doesn't have to have a held item. You don't have to worry about that if you don't want to. Happiness 0, experience and 0, level 1. Ability needs to be legal, so come over here to Cerebi, find the Pokemon that you're doing, look at which abilities are here. I don't know how hidden abilities work. Probably in Gen 5, if you want to give it a hidden ability, you probably should be able to do that. I don't think that's going to be something that's going to break anything. And then it needs to be in an egg. 100% needs to be in an egg. All right. Now, next tab. That's in the main tab. Next tab is going to be met. So you can. I don't think any of this. I guess you might be able to pick the ball, but for the most part, because it's an egg, it doesn't really matter because where we need it in all this kind of information is going to be taken as, you know, it's going to be it's going to be registered when we hatch the egg, right? So Met tab, I don't even think you need to mess with. So let's skip it and not mess with it. Now, stats we come in here with. We can randomize IVs. And you guys can choose to just randomize it. If you want to give me all straight 31s, you can do that. If you want to give me all straight zeros, you can do that. Whatever you guys want to do, but probably randomizing is going to be the best bet. You can randomize until you find something that you think looks good. Like, okay, so this isn't terrible, but it's also not great, but we've got a pretty decent IV core through there. You guys do whatever you want to do. You can randomize these. Don't do anything with EVs. Again, they're eggs. They shouldn't have any EVs. Those are gamed as they battle when they level, so you don't need to be worrying about any of that. Leave the EVs blank. All right, so basically just here, randomize, or you could put in whatever value you guys want to do, and then we're moving on. Now, this is the next place where we need to really be worrying about legality, all right? So, we could come in here, and we could pick anything we want. We can pick Ancient Power, and Crab Hammer. I mean, we could do all these kinds of things, but that's going to be an illegal Pokemon. So what we need to do, instead of just picking things at random, we need to come in here. And so we're not playing black and white, so sometimes these Pokemon, their move pools will have changed between black and white 2. So if you see a difference here, make sure that you're using the black 2, white 2 level up moveset, okay? Because, so for instance, like on a Azurill, in black and white, Azurill's only base move is Splash. But in Black and White 2, Azurill's base move is Splash and Bubble. It gets Bubble as a new move. So that's why you want to be checking, because some of those things are going to change. So the only things that this Azurill can know are Splash. You can type and it'll help you search. And Bubble. Alright, to start with. Okay, but then we can also come down here and we can look at... We can't do TM moves. But what we can do is egg moves. There's another box down here under TMs that is egg moves, and there's a lot of things in here. And any of these we can be allowed to have. So we can't do move tutor moves and things like. So basically, it's base moves and it's egg moves. So we can teach this thing Body Slam. It looks like. So we'll do that, and Muddy Water. Let's do that. Muddy Water looks like a pretty good move. So we're going to go ahead and teach this Azurill Muddy Water. We can, teach Sing. We can teach it any of these. So any combination of egg moves and base moves are the only moves that this Pokemon can know. All right. At minimum, it needs to know its base moves. All right. You can't give me a Pokemon that has no moves whatsoever. That's probably gonna wreck some things legal-wise. So minimum, you need to come up here and look at its level up move sets, and you need to give it those moves. If you would like to go down to the egg moves and give some other special moves and things like that, you're welcome to do so, but it's not necessary. But at minimum, we need to be getting these egg moves here, okay? Or these base moves here, and then if you want to give egg moves to give a little more variety, a little more interesting, abilities to your Pokemon, you can do that as well. All right, and then original trainers and things like that. I don't think any of this matters either. So basically, coming back in here, main, you're picking your species, you're nicknaming it if you want, you're checking this if you've nicknamed it. All right, make sure you check that, otherwise the nickname's not going to go through. 0 experience, level 1, nature, held item, non-key item, if you want to give it anything at all. Ability needs to be legal. So again, the link to Cerebee's Black and White Pokedex, Gen 5 Pokedex is going to be here. And you come in and you look at your abilities. It's right here under the sprites and everything like that. It gives you some of the other information, and then right there is abilities, alright? Make sure you're giving it a legal ability. If you want to give it hidden ability, I think that's probably fine. Make sure you're checking that is an egg. Alright, if you want it to be shiny, you check there. The gender can be determined right here. Alright, Met, you don't need to worry about, I don't believe. Stats, basically you just come in and put whatever you want for the IVs in there. 31 is max, and it even tells you, EV, but if you come in here and it's like, okay, IVs, valid values, 0 through 31, alright? You can either put all zeros, all 31s, you can randomize, do whatever you guys want to do. I don't care, alright? So IVs is totally up to you guys. Attacks is really where the legality comes in. Make sure you're looking at the proper level up moveset. So you got black and white level up here, but we're playing black 2, white 2, and Azurill's especially has changed. So, you got to make sure you're looking at whichever. Some of the Pokemon may not have changed, so it's just going to depend on what you're making. Alright, but you come in here, you look at those base moves, and then you scroll down past TMs and HMs, because those aren't legal, and then you come down here to egg moves, and you can do this. Now, you've also got move tutor moves and things like that. I don't believe, and some of these other things, I don't believe, no, I feel like they should be, if you teach it through a move tutor, you probably are going to be able to pass it through breeding, but I would just stick with whatever's here in this egg moves, unless you guys happen to know for certain that something is better. Again, this is the first time I'm really doing something like this, so I'm not totally clear on all the little idiosyncrasies, but to be safe, stick with egg moves, stick with base moves, and we should be all set. And then, so basically that's all you guys have to do. You come in here, I'm taking a lot longer to explain it than it's going to take you guys to do it. You guys are going to be able to knock these out in like a minute, probably. We come in here, and what we need to do to test real quick, we're going to click set. We right-click on one of these boxes, and we're going to click set. And you can see there that it's an egg. So we know we've done this properly. We've checked this. It's going to come in as an egg. All right. So now that that's been cleared out, we can delete that. But what we need to do is you need to come File, and you need to come Save Pokemon from Tabs. All right. And then that's going to save. This is going to bring up some of my my patron stuff here. Or when I'm doing hacking to get the patrons in there. But basically what you're going to do is going to save this .pkm file. It's a Pokemon file, .pkm. And what I need you guys to do is either, well, no, actually what I do want you guys to do for the sake of my own organization, I want you guys to name it your name. So I'm creating this Pokemon, so I'm going to name it Tortimer. You will name it, Pocket Flygon dash, and then the nickname of the Pokemon. Or you will name it Scad dash the nickname of the Pokemon. So this is going to be Tortimer dash Bluebell. All right, and then we're going to click save, which you guys can't see. But then we're going to click save. All right, so you do it your name because assuming that most of you guys are going to be giving me multiple eggs, I want to be able to organize. So each of you, like if Mac is submitting eggs, or Talon is submitting eggs, or whoever's submitting eggs, there's going to be a Talon box, and all the eggs that Talon submits are going to go into that one box. And then I'll be rotating through each of the boxes. So if I take a box from Talon's box, then if Scad's is the next box in line, I'll be taking a box out of Scad's box next. And then if D-Minor's box comes up after Scad's, then I'll be taking one. So just so everybody's eggs are getting use. I don't want them to be in a big pot so that I accidentally pull something that I'm always taking, Thunder's eggs or something as opposed to anybody else's. So put it your name dash the nickname. For the starter Pokemon, so we talked about how I want to have a specific smaller pool of eggs that is specifically starter Pokemon. I told you guys to think about a Pokemon that you would specifically want to see me using as a starter. And so for that, I would love for you to put Tortimer dash starter. And I'll still be able to figure out what the nickname is. If you've got a specific nickname you want used on that Pokemon, it'll still be available to me in the game. I'll still be able to see what it is. This is just for the sake of sorting, so that I know which Pokemon you guys want to be your starter. Put your name dash starter. All right. And then for the rest of them, you can just put your name dash the nickname, or if you would prefer, you could just do, you could do Tortimer, or, let's say Scad dash starter, we save a Pokemon as, and then if you want to do every other egg, Scad dash 1, Scad dash 2, whatever you want to do. I will limit it to, you're each going to get your own box, so I don't think anybody's going to go over this, but maximum 30 eggs from each person, because that's just going to be, each person's going to get their own box. But I'm not going to give each person 2 boxes because that's just going to be way too many eggs. We're never going to get that many eggs used. But you're able to, you submit me up to 30 eggs if you would like. So Scad-30 or whatever, or just put the nicknames, whatever you guys want to do. But make sure that the beginning of that save file is going to be your name. All right. So let's save to the desktop, and we're going to save Tortimer dash. Let's say that we want Bluebell to be this starter Pokemon here. And we're going to say Tortimer-starter. We're going to save that. All right. And then, let's see. It did not pop. Oh, here it is. So then we've got Tortimer-starter. It's going to be a blank looking little icon, and it's just going to say Tortimer-starter.pkm. All right. This is all that I need. So you guys go through this. You save it out. The .pkm files is what I need you to send me. I'll be able to drag this into my save file. And we'll be able to get all the eggs into the game really easily. So you take this, you can either email it to me, at oldmantortoise@gmail.com. That will be in the description down below. Or you can private message it to me on Discord. Whatever is easiest to you guys. Link to my Discord is in the description down below as well. Most of you guys who are probably going to be participating are already going to be members of that. So you can either private message it to me on Discord, or you can send it to my email address, which is, again, oldmantortoise@gmail.com. And that is going to be in the description down below as well. So whichever you guys want to do, make sure it's one of those two places so that I have the ability to get it. And I'm going to be starting to get this going as soon as I start getting these in. So again, your name dash either starter if it's the one Pokemon you want included in the starter pool, and then your name dash either a numbering sequence or your name dash just the nickname of the Pokemon. Do not put the species of the Pokemon. I don't know if I said that. Do not put the species of the Pokemon either in the file name or as the nickname, alright? If you leave the nickname field blank, if we come in here, and if we leave this nickname field blank, it's just going to say egg or whatever in the game, which is fine. I want to be somewhat surprised as to what they are, okay? I just want, because I think that's part of the fun of the Egglocke. You grab something at random, what's it going to end up being? Oh, look, it's a Trubbish or something, but just either, if you guys have a nickname that you want me to use, great. Otherwise, we will just be doing I'll come up with nicknames on my own, as I normally do, but I don't want you guys to spoil exactly what's going to be in the eggs, alright? So if you guys have any questions at all, comments down below right now. Let me know what you guys' questions are, and I will do my best to make whatever needs to be cleared up. And beyond that, you guys, it's really not the difficult process. Unfortunately, it took almost a half hour to go through this. I do apologize about that. If you'd rather jump over and look at a more concise Egglocke thing, there's a lot of YouTubers who have how to send me eggs sort of things, and it's all the same basic stuff. So you could check that out as well if you would like. But that's all you need to know. And again, if you got any questions, you can rewatch this through. I think I've covered everything that needs to be covered. But if you have other questions that have not been covered, feel free to put them in the comments down below. Hit me up on the Discord, whatever you guys want to do. We'll get that cleared up. There's going to be like a 2-week break between you guys seeing this episode and when I'd like to be starting to get this series recorded. So I'm giving you guys a good chunk of time. But I'd like for you guys to, as soon as you have time, you guys should have been thinking about the eggs that you want to be created for the last week or so, because I asked in the last couple episodes of the Pokemon Platinum Random Lock, which we just completed, Season 4 of this series. I asked you guys to start thinking about that, start making your lists, what you want to do, and so now you guys should be just kind of in a position to jump in here, get things being made, and so you save these out, files, save Pokemon from tabs, you get that .pkm file, and you send it to me. So anyway, guys, again, questions, comments down below or in the Discord. I can't wait to see all your eggs flowing in. Give me tons of them. Again, looking for your least favorite Pokemon. So even if it's a decent Pokemon, if you think, I don't know, you think a Pokemon's super overhyped or something, or you just have never really been a fan of it, you don't understand why everybody loves this Pokemon, you can do that. It doesn't have to be an objectively garbage Pokemon. I want you guys to include objectively garbage Pokemon. So if they're a Pokemon that's like a Weedle, if one of the Pokemon I draw is going to be, I'm going to have to use a Beedrill or something, obviously that's not a great Pokemon for a Nuzlocke probably. So you can do that. Objectively bad Pokemon whose stats are terrible, Pokemon who are really obnoxious to train, like, what's one, Rufflet or something. Rufflet evolves into Braviary, but not until like the mid-50s or something, so you're just stuck with an unevolved Pokemon for pretty much the mass majority of the game. So maybe you think about on those lines, which Pokemon are really obnoxious to train, which Pokemon do you just hate the look of, like Vanillish or Trubbish or Stunfisk, or any of these Pokemon that are just super ugly. Maybe you love those Pokemon. Maybe you love Pokemon that people hate. Maybe I love Pokemon that people hate. Maybe I hate Pokemon that people love. Maybe you hate Pokemon that people hate. So you guys kind of get the idea. Any of those rotten eggs, Pokemon that are bad, objectively have bad stats, things like that. Pokemon that are just ugly, Pokemon that you dislike, that other people might like. Those sorts of things. I think you guys get it. Again, if you got any questions on what we're looking for, comment down below or in the Discord. We'll get that cleared up. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Tortimer the Great, and you guys have been great. I can't wait to get all these eggs from you guys and get the series going. I've been super hyped about this one for years now, since I kind of came up with the idea of it. We're finally getting into it. I know you guys have been super excited about it since I let it slip that we were going to be doing something like this. So Can't wait to get your eggs, and again, if you have any issues doing that, just let me know. But the links in the description should get you everything you guys need, and hopefully this will be smooth sailing for all of us. So thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much in advance for submitting those eggs for this Rotten Egg Luck. I've been Tortimer the Gray, and you guys have been great. Make sure those likes, comments, subscriptions were guys. See you guys next time. Have a good one.